It was a rainy October evening when Claire, a young journalist new to the city, boarded the last train home. She was chasing a story about the rumored ghost stations, abandoned subway stops long forgotten by the public. Claire's curiosity was piqued by whispers of strange occurrences and mysterious disappearances linked to these forsaken platforms. Armed with only a notepad and a camera, she decided to take the F train, which was said to pass by one of these ghost stations. As the train rattled through the dimly lit tunnels, she noticed the carriage was unusually empty. Only a few other passengers sat scattered, their faces obscured by shadows. The train screeched to a halt at a station not marked on any map she had seen. The sign read "Station." Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. This was it. The ghost station. She stepped out, the doors closing behind her with a resounding clang. The platform was eerily silent, the only sound the distant drip of water echoing through the cavernous space. Old advertisements peeled off the walls, and the air was thick with the musty scent of decay. Claire clicked on her flashlight and began to explore, her footsteps echoing like ghostly whispers. She moved cautiously, snapping pictures and taking notes. The further she ventured, the colder it became and the oppressive silence seemed to thicken. As she rounded a corner, she saw them, figures standing in the shadows. They were passengers, or at least they had been. Their eyes were hollow, their faces twisted in expressions of eternal fear. Claire's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to run, but her legs felt like lead. The figures began to move towards her, their movements jerky and unnatural, as if controlled by unseen strings. Panic surged through her veins, and she turned to flee. Her flashlight flickered and died, plunging her into darkness. She fumbled for her phone, using its weak light to navigate back to the platform. As she ran, she could hear whispers around her, unintelligible and growing louder. Her heart raced, each beat echoing in her ears. When she finally reached the platform, she found it deserted, the train she had arrived on long gone. She frantically searched for another way out, her phone's battery draining rapidly. She spotted a staircase leading up and dashed towards it, praying it led to the surface. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. They were calling her name now, a chorus of voices blending into a chilling symphony. She could feel cold fingers brushing against her skin, tugging at her clothes. With a final burst of strength, she lunged up the stairs, bursting through a heavy door and into night air. She found herself in an alleyway, the city's neon lights casting an otherworldly glow on the wet pavement. Gasping for breath, she looked around. The entrance she had emerged from was gone, replaced by a solid brick wall. Claire hurried home, her mind reeling with what she had experienced. She tried to write her story, but every attempt was marred by incoherent scribbles and fragmented sentences. The whispers haunted her, even in the safety of her apartment. Days turned into weeks, and Claire's once vibrant spirit withered. She stopped going to work, stopped seeing friends. Her nights were plagued by nightmares, and every shadow seemed to hide a lurking figure. One evening, unable to bear the torment any longer, she decided to return to the subway. Armed with a resolve born of desperation, she retraced her steps, hoping to find some closure. She took the same train at the same time, but this time Station never appeared. Claire was never seen again. Some say she became one of the lost souls of the subway, her curiosity leading her to an eternal trap. Others believe she finally uncovered the truth and was silenced for it. But every now and then, on a rainy October evening, a lone train passenger might catch a glimpse of a young woman with hollow eyes, frantically scribbling in a notepad, forever seeking to finish her story.